By 2042, the United States is no longer the same country you know today. The cities shine at night without consuming a single drop of oil, and the concept of energy crisis has vanished from the global vocabulary. What happened in those 20 years changed the world forever, but it all started with a silent revolution that no one noticed at first. Back in 2028, while most people were focused on AI and space exploration, a handful of engineers and scientists in Nevada were working on something far more disruptive: a self-sustaining plasma battery capable of generating power from the magnetic fields around the Earth. At the time, it sounded like science fiction. But in 2030, a small experimental city called Aurorawan proved it was real. The city ran entirely on plasma energy, clean, limitless, and stable. Within weeks, global investors started calling it the new oil. By 2032, the first commercial plasma plants appeared across Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Energy prices collapsed. Electric bills, once a burden for every household, dropped by 90%. Fossil fuel companies began shutting down or transforming into energy recyclers. The streets filled with silent vehicles, powered not by lithium batteries, but by compact plasma cores the size of a phone. And then came the turning point, the Great Blackout of 2035. A cyberattack struck the East Coast's old power grids, causing the biggest energy collapse in U.S. history. Cities like New York and Philadelphia went dark for days. But the plasma-powered regions of the West kept shining. That event changed everything. The government passed the National Energy Independence Act, declaring plasma energy a strategic national priority. The oil age officially ended. From that year on, the United States entered what historians now call the energy renaissance. Thousands of engineers retrained to work in the new plasma and quantum energy sectors. Former oil fields became massive data and energy parks. Even the military joined in, converting its aircraft carriers and jets to plasma propulsion, drastically reducing costs and emissions. By 2038, energy exports became America's strongest economic pillar. Countries that once sold oil to the U.S. were now buying plasma technology licenses. Washington, D.C. became the capital of the new Clean Power Order, an alliance of nations sharing plasma technology, in exchange for stability and peace agreements. But not everything was perfect. With this new monopoly on clean energy, the U.S. faced growing resistance from older powers. Russia and parts of the Middle East accused Washington of energy colonialism. Covert energy wars broke out, not with weapons, but with data, sabotage, and information. Power grids were attacked, fusion labs were hacked, and entire cities faced digital blackouts as a warning of what was at stake. In 2039, one of those attacks reached American soil. The Quantum Pulse incident, a viral AI code infiltrated the plasma reactors of Denver, causing an uncontrolled surge. For a few minutes, the entire skyline glowed blue, as if a second sun had risen. The incident was contained, but the message was clear: whoever controlled energy, controlled civilization. After that, the U.S. built a new infrastructure called HeliosNet, a nationwide AI-managed energy web capable of predicting and neutralizing any energy disruption before it even occurred. It was not just a grid, it was a living system, learning and adapting every second. People called it the nervous system of America. Every home, vehicle, and machine became part of a single synchronized flow of energy. By 2040, cities evolved into living organisms. Skyscrapers absorbed sunlight during the day and released it at night through microplasma converters. Roads generated power through pressure and motion. Even garbage became energy. Everything recycled. Everything pulsed with light. The United States became the first net positive energy nation, producing more power than it consumed. In this new reality, the idea of paying for energy disappeared. Instead, citizens earned energy credits by producing or saving power. The richer you were in 2020, the more irrelevant that became by 2040. The new elite were not bankers or politicians, they were energy architects. Engineers who designed plasma ecosystems for entire megacities. Society changed, too. People no longer feared blackouts or shortages. Electric flying vehicles became affordable. Suburbs extended into once-uninhabitable deserts. Powered by autonomous microbes, climate recovery accelerated dramatically. Oceans began to stabilize. Ice caps partially regenerated, and air pollution dropped to pre-industrial levels. By 2042, humanity faced a new question: what to do with all that power? Unlimited energy meant unlimited potential, but also unlimited risk. Experiments in quantum teleportation and deep space plasma drives began. NASA, now fully integrated with private space companies, prepared Project Helion, a mission to send plasma-powered ships to the outer planets and even to Proxima Centauri. Back on Earth, a philosophical shift emerged. Religion, politics, and identity were no longer divided by class or wealth, but by access to pure energy consciousness. Some scientists began to claim that plasma wasn't just power, it was alive, a form of intelligent energy that could communicate through electromagnetic resonance. In secret labs, they called it the awakening field. As 2042 unfolds, the US stands at the edge of something greater than technology, a transformation of what it means to be human. People start connecting directly to the energy web through neural links, merging biological and synthetic existence. The border between mind and machine dissolves. The energy revolution that began with light bulbs and reactors has now reached the human soul. Cities are no longer made of concrete, but of light and motion. The night sky glows softly with orbital plasma satellites, forming constellations that shift and communicate in code. Every signal, every pulse, every flicker of light tells a story. The story of how humanity found infinite power, and perhaps, the beginning of something beyond human comprehension. 2042 is not the end of the energy revolution. It's just the beginning of a new species, Homo energeticus, born not from evolution, but from illumination.